Welcome back to the C&B Sports Show. I'm your host, Braylon Brakefield. Along with me, my good friend Cole. Cole, how does it feel to be 0-2 in the National Hockey League?
Well, it's not a great feeling. There's really nowhere but up from here. We don't have Tom Wilson playing, so that's probably a big factor. Vibe in the locker room. Everybody's probably kind of looking at him anyway, so it probably distracts everybody from the game, and so that nobody's nervous going out there. So he's not there. That's a big factor. He just throws crazy punches at people, so that's also, something else. But, I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched. I watched some of the first game. I didn't get to watch the game last night. But the first time it was all power plays, and that's not something that's going to last a long time with Ovi, so we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
That's crazy. Tom Wilson is a tough guy in hockey, and he's not healthy for the first two games. That sounds kind of soft, don't it?
He had surgery or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to speak too much on that. As Belichick would say, day by day, and then say nothing else. I'm not a doctor. Day by day, he's going to be day by day. I'm not a doctor. So, So I guess that's the way we're going to look at it.
We're 2-0. We handled the Tampa Bay Lightning, the current dynasty. We handled them open night. Then we took care of Minnesota by probably like a touchdown yesterday. So
yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, they should be really tough. That's a really good team.
We got 4 points. We beat the best team in hockey first game of the year.
That's fine. They're not the reigning champs, but that's cool. The way, however you want to twist it, it's fine.
Well, a top two team. It's either them or the Avs. Well, no, it's the Avs.
So y'all aren't top two? Put yourself all the way down there, huh? Down here with the norms.
We just had some technical difficulties. Could you run that back one time so I can defend myself?
Yeah, no, I just said that you're not number two. You're just gonna put yourself down here with the norms, in the 3 and below.
Well, the way I see things is the Avs are one until they get dethroned. I know as an Alabama fan, you expect, even though Georgia won the Natty and was undefeated, you expect them to be number 2 or 3 behind you. That's not the way we work over here.
I wouldn't say
to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Undefeated.
As a legendary Ric Flair said.
The man got beat last year. The man got beat, 40 whatever to something in the teens, I think. But I don't know. They beat our twos, which is fine. That's cool. I'm cool with it. It's fine. They can keep struggling with Kent State, and we'll just be out here trying to make moves, against Tennessee, and whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? So, I think that we're in a pretty good spot if Bryce plays. I haven't really seen much about it, so Georgia better watch out. I don't think they've looked too great. Struggling with Auburn in the first half is definitely not a good look, especially at home. So, they better watch out.
Yeah, I don't really care either way. I don't like either one of them. It's hockey season. Football is over. Nobody cares anymore, if you want to be honest. Yeah, we're on to hockey until basketball season starts up. So I'm the biggest Rangers fan. Well, Yankees are still playing, but they kind of disappointed me today. Baseball is such crap. Baseball is the most, just bullcrap sport there is sometimes.
It's tough.
Jose
It's brutal, man.
Jose Ramirez hits a ball 154 feet, and he gets a triple. How is that possible? Left fielder slides for it. It's an automatic double because he's running out of the box like his pants are on fire. Which, shout out to him.
Right.
He is a dog. He's rounding into
Yeah, I mean,
second.
dogs eat.
Donaldson throws the ball to first base when he's rounding second. Um, he just slides into third. Next guy hits one 140 feet, and Rizzo with the infield in, so nobody gets to it. And then guy after that, they steal, full count, guy steals, and Josh Naylor hits a rocket off the wall for a RBI double. They end up losing 4-2, but Aaron Judge, the weight of this season is killing Aaron Judge. Like, I bet this was so tough on him mentally that it's just completely, like, you can just see it on him. It's just sucked everything out of him. And he's like,
It's tough.
He's like 0-7 in the playoffs with probably like 5 Ks, 6 Ks. It's not good.
Well, it's also tough too because, to judge, I hate to say it's you're taking it one at bat at a time. No at bat really has any particular significance over another in a hitter's mind. You're up there, you have a job to do, you do your job. And that's how you look at it as a hitter. You're not going to sit there and think, okay, there's 2 runners on, 1 out. I need to, get a hit. Like, no, you're going to get up there. You're going to do your job. And that's how Judge, I'm sure, thinks about it. That's how most hitters think. Well, on the other hand, pitchers are thinking, oh, this is Aaron Judge. I get to be the guy that gets him out. So it's kind of like you have the target on your back as a hitter, and you're going to get, if you have 5 at bats, you're going to get 5 of the best, at bats from that pitcher. So that's what makes it tough for when you have, especially when you have a big season like that and it's the playoffs. They can focus in on you for a series. It's where you kind of have to have like your full team to, kind of come with you and play good. That's like a good example is last year is the Braves. It was a full team effort. It wasn't just Freddie Freeman or just Austin Riley. It was everybody. So the Yankees are in a tough spot. I mean, one of those vets have to step up and kind of take control, and kind of have Judge's back.
Yeah. I like our chances tomorrow with Sevy on the mound. He pitched against the Guardians like a couple weeks ago. He had a no-hitter until the 7th and then just got pulled just because he was, hurt majority of the year. So, I don't know. I still like our chances. Even though now it's, a 3-game series and 2 of those games we played in Cleveland. But how do you feel? You are kind of in a similar spot.
Yeah, I think I still think that our pitching is deeper. We beat Zach Wheeler. I guess now we'll have to face Aaron Nola, but it's Nola against Strider, who's probably been our best. And what's crazy about the Braves pitching staff is, you had Max Fried, who's really good, and he's proved it. He's proven that he's really good. And then we have Kyle Wright come out, who's the wins leader on the year. Or I don't know if he finished the wins leader, but I believe he did. And, you're kind of like, oh, yeah, he's the wins leader. And he's going up against Zach Wheeler, and a lot of people already counted us out, and he throws an absolute gem, and the Braves kind of get some runs off of some kind of dink hits, and we make good plays. And then we win. So, Spencer Strider comes out and pitches like he has and doesn't overhype the game, then I think we're in a good spot, up 2-1 with, possibly 2 games left if we can get to that spot. But I think this is a must win. And we play good in Philly. I mean, Philly has never really, in the regular season anyways, bothered us too much. We usually hit pretty good there. So I still think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I thought, I know Kyle Wright was up there for a while, but I thought Urias might have ended up. Oh, no, it was Kyle Wright. Urias finished with 17. I thought he had more than that. I thought he had like almost mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Wright finished with 21. I knew he had 21. I thought Urias had like 24 for some reason.
He's good, man. He proved it. He was lighting that thing up. And then when you can have Iglesias and then Jansen come in. Jansen's second in playoff appearances, I think, for a closing pitcher behind Mariano Rivera. So it's always good to have that kind of experience coming out of the pen. So I mean, if we could just get to those late innings with a decent lead, we should be. I mean, it's a good recipe, anyways. I mean, you never want to go behind, you know.
And
that's just ridiculous.
Your offense is like not historically, but this group is like historically known for like the second or third time to the lineup is when they get you. You may get through that first time to the lineup, but by the sixth or seventh inning, they've already seen you 2 or 3 times. That's when they get a hold of you. So you get that deep in the game, tie game at least. I would think the Braves have a chance to win every game, in that situation.
Yeah, the deeper you get with the Braves, and it's a close game, the worse. You want to just like the Phillies did in Game 1. They got an early lead, and they just never let them really get any breath. And then you see at the end of the game, the Braves make a charge and come up short. So, but what had me not worried going into Game 2 was the Braves left bases loaded twice, and then 2 runners on once. So we were getting people on base, we weren't getting those timely hits with 2 outs, and that's something that happens. And if that's a Game 1 problem, then it's looking good for the rest of the series. I mean, you're getting dudes on base, people are hitting, so it's nothing to like panic about. I think we're still in a good spot.
Let's run through some of these college football lines for tomorrow.
Let's get it.
First one that sticks out to me, we've talked about this several times, and an unranked team being favored over a ranked team. First one that pops up is Oklahoma being favored by 8.5 over Kansas. Is this not just a strange line to you with what Oklahoma's shown us, where they're obviously not very good, but why are they favored by 8.5 against Kansas, who's having arguably their best season in whoever knows how long?
I don't know. I don't know if it's historicals, I don't know what Vegas is seeing here, but I feel like it's substantial enough that you have to at least pay attention to it. Personally, I took Kansas at 7.5. I thought that 7 kind of made it weird. But I mean, if you think about it, in the past, I know it's a totally different coach, different players, but you see Oklahoma in these morning game or 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock games at home. It's usually a blowout. They usually show up for those. There's only been a couple times. I think one was like Tulane at the beginning of the year last year where they struggled, but it's usually a good spot for Oklahoma. So maybe they're looking at that. I'm not really sure. Oklahoma hasn't impressed me at all, to be honest. And Kansas has impressed me a lot. So, it's something to look at. If you're a research better, like you like to do your research, this is when I would do your research and try to find out why it's so big.
The main thing I was thinking too is Jalen Daniels being questionable for this game. I don't think he's going to play, which is pretty big for Kansas, but also like the backup isn't bad, and compared to the way the rest of the team for Kansas has looked, I just expected this to be closer. I expected Oklahoma to be favored, but I expected it to be like 2.5, like closer to a pick.
Yeah, same.
8.5's a lot. That's at least 2 scores.
Yep. I don't like it. I could not take it at 8.5. I mean, at 7.5. I saw it at 7. I got it at 7.5, and I'm thinking, okay, this is great. I mean, I mean, whenever it's at 7, I get worried. And even 7.5, but it's just such a weird number. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't think that Jalen Daniels being out is that big of a thing for this game particularly, just because I don't think Oklahoma's that great. But maybe they're thinking it's a bounce back spot. So,
yeah, talking about a bounce back spot, here's one that stinks that I just say plug your nose and take is Georgia by 38 over Vandy. Like, this is where Georgia is just like, would you be shocked if you turn it on at halftime and Georgia's up 43-0?
No, and I'll tell you what keeps this bet safe too is Kirby is so, we saw it against Auburn. He's so worried about how he's going to look at the end of the year because he knows that his team isn't what it was last year. He wants to run the score up. He wants it to be big margins So this is one that you're going to take, or you should take, and it's going to be, I think it's, what is it, 38.5?
Just 38 right now.
38. Well, I mean, they're going to win by 40 or more. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't even, you just take it and don't watch the game, and you have money in your account. Like, that's just what Kirby does. He has a lot of Dabo in him in that regard, where he's just going to run it up because he wants it to look good. Because you can see in the rankings from 2 weeks ago or last week where, you know, Georgia struggles in the first half with Auburn, but they run it up in the second half by continuing to throw it with the game out of hand, and boom, they're back at number one, which AP poll might have been just fixing it, or they're just a bunch of nerds. I don't care. It's still, you know, that's how it looks. And then at the end of the game, nobody's going to look like, well, we should probably go watch the first half of the Auburn-Georgia game. No, the final score is 48-14. Nobody's going to watch that. Nobody's going to pay attention, but it's the reality of it.
Mississippi State's favored by 4 over Kentucky. I think Kentucky wins this game. Like, Mississippi State looks very good so far. At the end of the year, you know, when you look back at Mississippi State, do you think they're a 9-win team, or do you think they're like an 11-win team? I would say no. Do you think they're maybe an 8-9-win team? I'm gonna say yeah. So eventually, at some point,
more probable, yeah.
You have to start losing some of these games, and I think it's at Kentucky. So Will Levis coming back. If Will Levis don't play, then I would take Mississippi State. But I think Levis is going to play.
If Levis plays, Kentucky. If not, Mississippi State. And it is weird. Mississippi State has been like that, just sneaky beater this year. Like, they're just kind of beating everybody. And you're like, kind of like, huh, that's weird. You know, they beat Arkansas and they beat A&M. And like, you looking back at it, it's like, well, yeah, duh. But, you know, before the game or before the season, you're sitting there like, oh, that's an easy win for Arkansas and A&M. You know, so I'm with you though. At some point, it has to balance out. Because if Mississippi State wins this game, they're going to be probably a top 10 team or right there at like 12.
Yeah,
and I just don't see that I don't see that happening. So I think Kentucky gets the win here, especially a night game.
One I've talked about all year. BYU is favored by 1 over Arkansas at BYU. I think this is an easy take BYU spot. I don't think either team's as good as what we thought, but
no.
I think BYU at home, I'm trusting them to win by, you know, basically win the game.
Yeah. You give me, if KJ is healthy, and I mean, I don't think there's really going to be much defense played in this game anyways, but you give me a healthy KJ. I like Arkansas in this spot, but that's not how it's played out. So I'm with you. I think BYU, you know, before the season, I was all over Arkansas in this game, but they're just too banged up. They're just too banged up to overcome it, and you know, it's not really anything you can kind of, you know, forecast. But yeah, I think BYU, and I think the over. I think the number on the over is kind of high, but I mean, I really don't think there's going to be any kind of defense played here, unless the Arkansas defense is just so, like, that front is just too much for BYU. But I just don't see that happening. I mean, BYU beat Baylor, who has a decent front, so BYU should be fine here.
Yeah, over under 66. The big one, and I'll go in on this one first because I know this one hits home for you. It's Alabama, Tennessee. Alabama's favored by 8. This is to where you bet Nick Saban. I know he's 112 years old. Nick Saban doesn't have back-to-back bad games. It just doesn't happen. And they struggled the last 2 weeks, really. Well, no, 2 weeks ago they played Vandy, didn't they? So they struggled. They struggled with Arkansas for a minute. That was 3 weeks ago, I think.
Vandy, Arkansas, and then A&M.
Okay, so it was 2 weeks
now
ago.
Tennessee.
They struggled with Arkansas for a minute, and then things started clicking a little. Struggled with A&M very badly. I mean, went down to the last play of the game, and this is your bounce back spot. Tennessee's riding a high. This is where you say, okay, Alabama's coming off what is probably going to be their worst game of the year. and Tennessee's coming off what will be their best game of the year. Beating LSU the way they did last week sets this up for a perfect spot to where you take Alabama by 8, favored by 8. That's 2 scores. I see Alabama win this game by probably like 14. Especially if Bryce
this
plays.
is where, that's the question. That's the question. Bryce plays. I mean, it could be. I think it gets. I mean, honestly, it has the potential to be like that. Oh wow, Alabama is actually Alabama, and Tennessee. Like it's the same. It's the same thing we've seen. I think it's a 14-21. Like just you're like, oh wow, this is a thumping. And everybody's out of the game by the end of the fourth quarter, or all the fans are gone. But if Milroe plays, watch out because we're going to have to try to slow the clock down and kind of make them run our own thing. Now, Tennessee's defense against yards per game is rated like 88th in the country, which is pretty terrible. And they haven't played a top. I think Pitt is the best defense they've played based on yards per game. And I think they're like 23rd. So not really substantial. I don't think Pitt's very good anyways, but something to watch out for. I think Alabama's defense is, they're ranked like second or third in yards per game. So something to watch out for. Tennessee's kind of been low-key beating bad teams, but they're still ranked 6th. They have a good system going. Confidence is killer when it comes, especially when you're playing at home. So if you're a confident football team, you can pretty much beat anybody. One stat that I do want to give, since 2005, when 2 5-0 teams are playing, the underdog hits 46 or has hit 46 of 28 against the spread. The underdog has won 46 of 28, which is 62%. So that's something to look at for this game and Michigan and Penn State. I think it's probably more likely in the Michigan-Penn State game, but it all depends on if Bryce plays. So
let's see this.
Kind of tough to tell right now.
Move the line to 13.5, and you get plus 145. I don't think that's worth it, but I'm definitely taking them by 8.
Yeah, I think so too. I've replaying it in my head, how I think it's going to go, and I'm usually pretty negative when it comes to thinking about Alabama football and trying to think about how we do. And I just see it as a game where it's probably tight. Tennessee comes out on fire and they might go up 10-0, and then they just get nothing the rest of the game. You're just like, what happened? Kind of like with. I think it'll be a lot like the Georgia game last year. I think the SEC championship. They jumped out 10-0, got nothing else the rest of the game, and I think that's how it's going to be. I hope that's the way it is. But only time will tell.
Yeah. So you had a few games you wanted to talk about. I'll let you go ahead and burn through those because my computer is on snail mode, taking the day off. Thinking it's Friday.
So I guess we'll go into the next 5-0 versus 5-0. Penn State, Michigan. The current line for that is Michigan -7 at home. It is at noon o'clock. I don't think Michigan's that great, personally. I don't think they've been tested at all, and Penn State has only been tested. It's every week is a new test for them. They go to Purdue, they get a scrappy win. They come to Auburn, which, for a Big Ten team is something totally different. They kind of assert their dominance. So, I just think that Penn State keeps it close. I think Michigan might win, to be honest. You're at the big house at 12 o'clock. That's what they live for, but I think 7 is too much here for the gambling side of it. And I think if you're just feeling froggy, Penn State might be them dudes that could go into the big house and win. I wouldn't put it as my upset of the week, but I think it's probably in the top 5 of most possible. So just something to look at. Also, another thing to look at is the over under. I haven't checked the weather, but I think it's going to end up being a shootout at the end of the game, personally. And it's at 48 now. I got it at 51. That tells you what I think about it. So I might double down. But yeah, I think the over under is probably going to be the play in that game. And then Penn State is if you're wanting to take something else that game as well.
Yeah, I mean Penn State. Watching them against Auburn, their halfback is unbelievable. Like he really could be one of the most talented players in college football. And then you have Sean Clifford at quarterback, who's been there for 8 years. So, who do you trust more? The freshman that hasn't really ever been in this spot, like toughest team he's ever played from Michigan is Maryland. They won by 7. So I don't really think you can bank on him covering 7 against a much better Penn State team who has an experienced quarterback, who has been in these games before. So I like Penn State a lot. I just don't know if my morals can let me take them. But I might.
It's tough. I mean, it's one you got to, you just got to kind of go if you're about it. And if not, it's fine to kind of let that one ride and just kind of enjoy the game. But I mean, I'm on it. Lindsey's gone for a week, so I mean, I got to entertain myself in some kind of way. So that's what I'm going with. The next one is Syracuse and NC State. Syracuse is ranked. I've watched them once, and they looked really good when I watched them. They were playing somebody decent, and they beat them at home. I can't remember for sure, but notable injury is NC State's quarterback, Devin Leary. The backup is a guy out of one of those schools that runs like the triple option. So they're going to be running it a lot is pretty much what that says. Unless he's just got some kind of crazy arm that he grew. I don't know. But it's at the Dome. Syracuse gets rolling in there. It's just tough to stop them. We've seen them beat Clemson in there a couple times. So I like Syracuse here for the play. I think it's currently at 3.5. Yeah, Syracuse 3.5. I like that. I think it's more of a touchdown. So something to watch, especially NC State backup quarterback.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for NC State to win with a backup quarterback. Like I think they would be favored in this game if he's healthy.
Yeah, Syracuse is also undefeated, so that's something to look out for. I did not realize that until just now.
Yeah,
it is weird to say. Let's see. Oh, a big one for the pod. 2 of our automatics are playing against each other, USC and Utah. I took Utah here. I stay true to my roots. I think it's one of those spots where Utah's ranked, I think, right? Aren't they ranked? Yeah, they're 20th. They're ranked, but they're 20th. They're favored against USC. I think Vegas is kind of telling us, like, hey, we want you to take USC because we want your money kind of deal. So I like Utah here at home at 8 o'clock kick or 7 o'clock in Central Time on Fox. I mean, it's just going to be a great game. I think it's going to be Utah in the end. I think they're a tough, gritty team. And I know USC has all those weapons, but, I mean, this is the one Utah gets up for. And it's a great great spot for Utah to bounce back.
Yeah, I've talked about this game for weeks now. Like, I think it was seriously 3 weeks ago I was watching USC, and I said, I cannot wait. I hope they win until they get to Utah because I'm betting Utah regardless. Just because they're just a tougher team. And USC has they have the more talent. They've got 2 of the best wide receivers in the country in Caleb Williams. But when is that offense going to click? Like, this should be the team. If those 2 guys, 2 wide receivers, are with Oklahoma last year, they're scoring 50, 60 points a game. And it just hasn't happened yet over here. So maybe it will this week, but I don't see that happening against Utah. Like, it should have already happened by now.
Yeah, I agree. Utah is in kind of a gauntlet right now.
Yeah,
Had to go. They had Oregon State, and then had to go to UCLA. We know how that played out, and then USC at home, and then got to go to Washington State next week on Thursday next week. So something to look for. I don't think I think Utah is more focused on the USC game than anything, though. I mean that's probably one they had circled anyways. So kind of welcome Lincoln Riley to the Pac-12.
yeah. Coming from the Big 12, I'm sure the Pac-12 is scaring him to death.
Well, that's what you would think, and then you got to go to Utah. I mean, you just
True.
see all these Mormons everywhere, and you're like, whoa,
True.
what's going on here?
All that built-up aggression.
That's all I got. Let me see if there's any other games as I scroll through.
There's TCU is favored by 4 against Oklahoma State. TCU just beat Kansas in a very close game. I think TCU wins this. Like, it's just kind of written in stone right there. With them being favored by 4 over a team that's ranked above them. Yeah, I don't know if I'll bet this, but if I was going to, I'll definitely take TCU.
I like that. I think that one might be playable.
Clash of you. James Madison favored by 12.5 over Georgia Southern, your hometown. So, how do you feel about that one?
I don't know, man. Georgia Southern we've seen is good. They picked up that win against don't tell me, Nebraska, and they got beat by UAB. They beat Ball State. So I don't know. James Madison's going on the road. It's 12.5. That's a really weird number to me. Those in between numbers are just hard to take. But I mean, James Madison hasn't not covered yet. They're undefeated against the spread this year, so I don't know why. I don't know how you can bet against 100%. You got to get burned on them at least once before you change it up. So, give me James Madison on the weird line.
Yeah. Arguably the best team in the country, like people are saying.
I mean, I'm with you. Now, let's see. The percentage of bets are on James Madison is 68. So, if you're an against the public kind of better, which is not a bad place to be, Georgia State might be your play here, or Georgia Southern, sorry. But that being said, James Madison should be number 1 in the country right now over Georgia. I think if they play, I think James Madison gives them a run for their money.
Oh, no doubt. I would take James Madison over Georgia right now. I think I would take James Madison over the Tua-less Miami Dolphins. I think the only team right now on the planet that could beat them is the Patriots, led by Bailey Zapp. And maybe the Bills. The Bills probably would.
Maybe the Bills. Bills with Marcus Hyde. But yeah, I think Bailey Zapp and the Patriots would probably be the only team because they look pretty unbeatable.
Yeah. They're electric. It was one I just saw.
I mean, it's probably my favorite team right now. It's so crazy. The Patriots are just looking at my Twitter feed, I think, and picking that person as a quarterback. Like, I never tweeted about, before I never tweeted about Garoppolo or Jacoby Brissett, so they just cut them, kept Brady. And then I started tweeting about this Mac Jones guy, and that they probably saw my tweets about Cam Newton, probably got a little confused. And so they were like, wait, no, not this guy, but Mac Jones, we want that guy. So now they got Bailey Zapp in there. It's just kind of weird. I think Bill Belichick has a crush on me.
Okay. That would be a crazy turn in events if Bill Belichick and you were kissing.
I think, no, it's not that kind of crush, you perv.
What do you mean?
He's a crush on my tweets.
What's a crush? A crush is somebody you like their tweet?
He's just crushing on my tweets. Yeah, why not? His burner account is probably in love with my account because I just give him great quarterbacks over and over and over again.
I had one just now. It's Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's in the Big Ten. I know it's Maryland versus Indiana, but I don't know what the line is.
I mean, the Patriots drafted a guy named Cole Lipscomb from Chattanooga, and you don't think they have a crush on my Twitter account? Get out of here.
Was that his name, Cole Lipscomb?
That was his name.
Is that right?
Straight up, no cap. Look it up.
I know it was Cole, but I thought it was something else. I thought it was something strange.
Yeah, I thought it was Lipscomb. I don't know.
It's not Lipscomb.
Let's look up Cole. We'll do a... Lipscomb. Patriots.
It's not his name at all. Lipscomb, you made that up.
No, Cole Lipscomb was a pitcher for Auburn. What was this dude?
I think something strange.
This dude did have a weird name. Patriots.
Yeah, Cole Strange.
Football player. Oh, it literally was Strange.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. His name's Cole. I mean, what more do you want?
Because I called him Cole D. Strange Jordan. But yeah,
that's awesome.
I like Maryland by 11 over Indiana. Indiana stinks. They're like 3-3, and Maryland has a great offense. So
Maryland slings that thing, buddy.
Laying bigger numbers with teams like that is very easy for me if you have a very good offense. Definitely. Yeah, that's all I had for that. I can look at some NFL lines if my computer will cooperate. See if anything catches your eye.
Yeah, I haven't really looked that much. I'll be honest. Transparency is key, but hey, we'll take a peek at it. Give it a first glance review.
Cincinnati Bengals headed to NOLA. Joe Burrow favored by 3 over the New Orleans Saints. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Saints. I don't really think it matters. Saints are tough
New
to
England
beat at home,
is a dog. Yeah, Saints are tough to beat at home.
Who are they playing?
Saints are a dog against the Browns.
Oh yeah,
2.5.
Is that playing?
I have a report. Bailey Zapp loves B-dubs, so
fact.
He should be fine in Cleveland. He's all about the vibe, so I think Bailey Zapp gets the job done there as a dog, personally.
Green Bay Packers favored by 7 over the New York Jets. How do you put the Packers as favorites of a touchdown over anybody? That offense is so bad. If the Jets can score 3 times, they're at least covering. At least they're probably winning the game.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I just realized I haven't put in my survival pick, and looking at these, there's not a lot of great ones.
Look at the Rams.
Against Carolina?
Third string quarterback for Carolina.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Baker's out. I think Bridgewater might have been the backup. I think he's out. It might be Matt Corral, maybe. I don't know that for sure.
Matt Corral's with the Falcons.
Is he really?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That's who got drafted by.
Matt Corral?
Yeah, from Ole Miss?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, we could do another Google, man.
I'm Googling right now. Yeah, he's with the Panthers.
I'm 0-1.
What are you talking about? You're 0-2.
What was the first Google?
Cole Lipscomb. You just made that name up.
It was Cole something, man. I got, I don't know. Oh, man, Matt Corral is with the Panthers. Yeah. What the heck? Who am I thinking of?
Felipe Franks, maybe?
That's who it is. He's very easily,
not even close to the same guy. You want me to blow your mind right now?
0-2.
Felipe Franks is a tight end. He's the backup tight end for the Falcons.
He's a tight end, yeah. I did know that.
But
I did know that.
The Falcons are, or the 49ers are at the Falcons, and they're 5-point favorites over the Falcons. I would take the Falcons there. This is just...
Dude, the Falcons are sneaky.
Yeah, they're undefeated against the spread too. Like, just keep riding that wave.
Why not? Oh, what about Monday night? Oh, what a great game. We get to see Denver again on a Monday night game with the Chargers. Thoughts?
Yeah, just keep feeding me more of that Broncos offense. Nobody.
I want it. I want the Broncos for Monday nights and Thursday nights only. Like, make that. I want them nonstop. I just love being miserable. It's one of my favorite things, to be honest. Just give me the Commanders versus the Broncos all season. They just have to play each other every game for a season.
Yeah, sneak in the Texans. Of course,
exactly.
The Bills and the Chiefs are playing. That's the 3:25 game on Sunday. Instead of having
because that makes
time,
sense.
We're just going to stick that just right in the middle of the day on Sunday.
Because not everybody wants to watch, Buffalo, Kansas City. Everybody wants to watch Broncos Country Ride. Because why not? So stupid.
Let's ride. But that's
Did
all.
Did you see where he said that last Thursday?
Yeah, after they lost.
After the game? Broncos Country, let's ride. As he's leaving. Like, bro, somebody should have got up and just right in the chin, just night.
He is a bona fide robot.
Awful.
After not scoring a touchdown.
Even Carson Wentz scored a touchdown. Or not him, but the Commanders did.
He was there. He was along for the ride. I'm trying to get your go ahead and get your New York Rangers Stanley Cup champion bets in. They're plus 1,700 right now. Go ahead and cash tickets. They don't look good for the Caps, Cole. They're plus 3,700. They're behind the New York Islanders, who didn't even make the playoffs last year. They're behind the LA Kings. They're behind the Predators, who don't even care about hockey in Nashville. St. Louis, they haven't been good in 4 years. Pittsburgh, everybody they have is 45 years old. Same team they've had since 06. Boston Bruins just beat you. They should be ahead of you. Minnesota Wild, that team you said wasn't any good, we just beat by a touchdown. They're in the top 10 favorites. Vegas, Edmonton, there's the Rangers, Calgary, Florida, Tampa Bay. How is Tampa Bay above us? We just beat them. Make it make sense.
Apparently they're the dynasty.
They are the dynasty. They won, like 3 straight? 2 straight?
I don't know, man.
Lost the 3rd one? Avalanche.
Where are the Wizards at when I need them, man?
Avalanche are plus 400 to win the whole thing right now. Plus 400.
I got a question. I really would like to change the subject, and I'm gonna.
Okay.
How does Carson Wentz only have 99 passing yards?
Did you hear when you started that Carson Wentz?
I will say he's like 4th in the league in passing. Not anymore, but I mean, I guess he would. He probably moved up with 99 yards, because nobody else played this week. But I will say the what's his name? Curtis Samuel was refusing to catch last night. I don't know. Carson Wentz maybe called him ugly, like in a joke, or something, or sent a mean gift to him before the game. And Curtis Samuel said, "No, buddy, that's not how we play around here. Like, you think you're gonna throw these dimes at me?" Dropped. I mean, it was like it was on purpose. I saw it twice. One was for a tutty, and he just said, "Nope, not today, buddy." So luckily, Brian Robinson had our back. The next 50 Cent. So
Carson Wentz has one of the craziest stat lines for him to be second in the league right now in yards. He leads the league in attempts. He's completing 62% of his passes for an average of 6.4 yards an attempt, which is not very good. The only one I see lower than that is Kyler Murray.
That's weird.
That's pretty bad.
For yards per attempt?
Yeah, Case Keenum has 1.1. Malik Willis had 1.5. Trace McSorley, shout out to the GOAT. He's got 3. Mitchell Trubisky, 5.6. Joe Flacco, 5.8. Brian Hoyer, 6.2. Baker Mayfield, 6.3. Danny Dimes, 6.4. Carson Wentz, 6.4. Kirk Cousins, 6.7.
Well, at least I don't know. There's really nothing positive. I was going to try to think of something positive there, but
I was waiting on you to spin that one.
There's really not. Really not. I mean, the O-line, I don't think it's fully Carson Wentz's fault. I really don't. He doesn't really deserve the full brunt of everything. I think the O-line is historically terrible. And if you don't have a coach that can like play call, I guess, I don't know. I mean, we've seen teams like Joe Burrow was spinning it with a terrible O-line, and there's ways to combat it, but for some reason, nothing's not working right now. So maybe it's Curtis Samuel dropping all of his passes, but I mean, it's something needs to be reevaluated for sure. Throw Heineke in there, see what happens. I mean, obviously he doesn't have the arm or the height, but he's got the heart. It's not the dog in the fight; it's the fight in the dog. And bring number 4. If you want to win, let 4 spin.
Put it on his shirt. Let 4 spin, baby.
If you want to win, let 4 spin. But that's all I got, man. I'm done talking about the Commanders, so need to get out of here. I want to go punch a wall or something.
Go for it. Your house, you can do what you want.
Totally, just embarrassing. So that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
That's it. Good luck this weekend to everybody. Hopefully your teams come through.
Thank you. Yeah, I need the Braves to come through because, I'm fine losing to the Dodgers or something, like whatever. But I mean, I'm not fine with it, but I can sleep at night. I can't sleep at night if we lose to the Phillies. I just can't.
Would be tough.
So, I think they're playing right now. Actually, I haven't kept up with the score. Pod over the Braves any day, but hopefully they're doing good. I don't know, but yeah. So let's get out of here, man. I'm tired of rambling. Good luck on the weekend. Roll Tide. Let's get after it.
Love you guys.